Hello everyone, welcome to my class. Today in this class we are going to discuss about Introduction to Cybersecurity. We all know about cybersecurity because we are all living in cyber world. The 21st century is a cyber world only. So we are directly or indirectly always we all connected to an internet. Whoever, wherever, whenever we are connecting to an internet, automatically either the device or the person, he will be in a part of cyber world. So today we are going to see some of the important and introduction concepts of cybersecurity. So generally the cybersecurity world, we call it as a world of experts and criminals. It means in the cybersecurity world, there are a lot of experts also available. At the same time, there are some criminals also available. We have to be aware and we have to be very careful when we are using cyber world. The main objective of this class is we are going to see the characteristics of cybersecurity world and the criminals and the cybersecurity professionals. Many people, they may not aware that who is a criminal and who is a cybersecurity professionals. So we are going to see what is the difference between a cyber criminals and cybersecurity professionals. And then comparing the cybersecurity threats. There are a lot of threats which is spreaded in the cybersecurity world, and we are going to see many threats as well as we are going to compare what are all the different threats and impacts. And then the dark forces of cybersecurity, and then creating how the cyber professionals, that means the creating more heroes. So in this class we are going to discuss the cyber world, cybersecurity professionals, criminals and the threats, dark forces and cybersecurity professional heroes. Let us start with cybersecurity. What do you mean by cybersecurity? The cybersecurity, automatically any electronic devices, whichever the electronic devices which is going to connect to an internet, then automatically it is going to exchange the data or the information to the world, cyber world. So the protecting the electronic devices, it means, for example, every person will have a smart mobile phone. So automatically the smart mobile phone always it will be connected to an internet. So it means that that mobile phone is in the cyber world. So it is not going to connect to an internet alone. The purpose is whatever the data which is associated with that electronic devices and whatever the informations which is available in that electronic devices, which are all comes under cybersecurity. So how to protect an electronic devices and associated data and information is called it as an cyber security. The complexity of a modern world. The complexity of the modern world is it will start from the mobile device to an remote access. For example, we can see that every person is having a smart mobile phone, smart devices and smart watches, smart glasses and many more devices they have. So one person will be connected to an internet in multiple ways and means. So the mobile devices all, and also we were connected to an internet via the social media. We all very much familiar that the Facebook, Twitter, Instagram and many more social medias which is available, LinkedIn. So professional social medias. There are professional social medias, entertainment social medias are available, and then e-commerce systems. This is where the more sensitive also, because the business people also will get into it, and we used to do some online purchase, online transactions, everything which will comes under e-commerce systems. So e-commerce systems and online banking. So the online banking, almost every person they will purchase, they will sell, and also they will transfer the money via an online banking mechanism. And the next one is BYOD. bring your own devices. That is the culture we used to have in nowadays. It means that whoever earlier days, if we work in any other organization or if we work in any other corporates, the corporates and the organization itself, they will provide an devices, they will provide an computing facility. We are supposed to use only that facility, and through that device only we can able to connect to an internet organization network. So whatever the data exchange, everything which will be happen to that systems. But now the systems has been completely changed. Even the people, they will be work from home. Even in this pandemic situations, COVID-19 kind of pandemic situation, people work from home. So automatically people, they will use their own devices. Even when they go to an office also, they will use their own mobile phones, they may use their own laptop and desktops, and many other iPads also they can able to use. That we call it as a bring your own device. And then backup and remote access. Backup and remote access is very important. As I said, work from home. It means that you may be sitting in somewhere else and you can access your own office server or platforms. You can create your own virtual office through that virtual office sitting in your home, and you can able to work. So remote access as well as the backupping the data. So we used to take all the data in a backup. So that data, how we are going to keep it. So this is where the complexity of an modern world. Next we are going to see the characteristics of cybersecurity world. What the characteristics of cybersecurity world? Cybersecurity will be classified into domains. There are many data groups are there. Based on the data groups, the many domains, cybersecurity domains are created. It is not restricted to 1, 2 or 3. Depending upon today there may be some different cybersecurity domain will be there. Tomorrow there may be one more cybersecurity domain may create. It means that there are many data groups that make up the different domains of a cyber world. So this data type can be in the form of numbers or pictures, video, audio, or any type of data that can be digitized. Ultimately, cyber world, all the data are going to be in a digital. For example, Facebook, which is going to share, which is going to handle the data of audio, text, videos, and images. Similarly, each and every domain they may handle the multiple types of data. Based on that only, the cybersecurity domains are classified. For examples of cybersecurity domains, here you can see that Google+, Twitter, LinkedIn, Instagram, and Facebook. These domains are very strong because these domain can able to collect the user data which was contributed by the user themselves. Facebook is not demanding any of the data. Only your very basic fundamental data only they are asking when you are creating your own accounts. Either it may be a LinkedIn or Twitter or Facebook or Instagram or Google+. But what will happen is once the person get into all these social medias, then automatically the user itself creating a multiple data. That data may be a video, audio, image, text. So which contains this data often includes the user's background, the user's discussions, what the user likes, and where they are moving, where they are traveling, and what is their interest, and friends, and the family members, for their professions, hobbies, and work, and personal schedule also. These are all the data the user themselves voluntarily they will be providing into a social media. This is one important cybersecurity domain. The growth of a cyber domains are continuously growing. We cannot predict that this is going to have end up with only 10 domains or 15 domains. It may increase, depends on how fast the digital world is growing. So the new technologies such as we ourselves, we know that geospatial information system, GIS, and Nowadays, it is a very hot topic. It's that the Internet of Things. All the devices, all the electronic devices are trying to convert into smart devices. Then automatically all these electronic devices are trying to connect with an internet. It means that it is going to populate a huge amount of data, as well as one device can able to talk to another devices. The decision which will take based on their one device outputs to another device output. So this cyber domain is continuously which is going to grow. We cannot restrict to some limited domains. Next we will see that cyber professional versus cyber criminals. So how do we classify? He is a cyber criminal and he is a cyber expert professional. That we are going to see here. Basically, the hacker and the evolution of hackers. Basically, we have three type of hackers. We classify it as three type of hackers. The one is white hat hackers, grey hat hackers, and black hat hackers. These are all the three types of hackers. Normally, we will see who belongs to white hat hackers, who belongs to grey hat hackers, and who belongs to black hat hackers. We will see next. But the modern hacking titles are script kiddies. We will see that script kiddies, and vulnerability brokers, and hacktivists, and cyber criminals, and state-sponsored hackers. Now let us see who are all comes under a white hat hackers, who are all comes under a grey hat hackers, who are all comes under a black hat hackers. The hackers are, this is a group of criminals break the computers or the networks to gain access for various reasons. So there may be some group of criminals who they are going to break either a social media, they are going to break some of the computers, and they are going to break some of the networks. The purpose is to gain some access for various reasons. So based on their activity, we can classify that three types of white and grey and black hat hackers. So first let us see that white hat hackers. Discover the weakness in order to improve the security of systems. So if any one person he is going to discover what is a weakness in the particular network or in the particular social media system, so which will help to improve the security of a system. So those type of hackers are considered white hat hackers. And next is find a vulnerability and report it to the owners of the system. If that action coincides with their agenda, it means that so some of the people will be there, some of the volunteers will be there. They are going to find what are all the vulnerabilities in that particular network or in that particular system, and they will report it to the owners also. They may be reporting to that particular organization. So in terms of they will be getting some prizes and awards and rewards when you get it. So those type of hackers also call it as a grey hat hackers. The third hackers are the dangerous hackers. They are unethical criminals who violate the computer and the network security for a personal gain or for malicious reasons such as attacking the network. So we come across many of the unethical criminals. We might have come across in our life also. Somebody may be hacking your Facebook account and posting unethical data, unethical photographs or videos into your account. So it will spoil your image to your friends and business, your professionals. So that is one thing. And we also heard that ransomware virus, they will be encrypting your computer and you can't able to access your own systems. Then the hacker will demand for some bitcoins, some cryptocurrencies, so you have to pay for it, and then they will decrypt it so that you can able to use it. This type of unethical criminals, that is why we call it as they are not a hacker, they are unethical criminals. Those people we call it as the black hat hackers. They are the cyber security criminals. For example, cyber security criminals, the criminals come in many different forms, each have their own motives. So grey hat hackers, they have their own motives, and similarly the white hat hackers, they will have their own motives. So the first one is the script kiddies. They may be the beginner of the hacking, they may be beginner of the professional. So they have a very little knowledge. They will try to use whatever the tools which is available in the market. They will try to use that tools. They may try to extract, or they may try to write some instruction to do some small activities to find the weakness of an organization, find the weakness of a particular system's security levels. And the vulnerability brokers, they are the grey hat hackers. They will come under grey hat hackers. So whereas the script kiddies, they will come under white hat hackers. The vulnerability brokers are the grey hat hackers who attempt to discover and exploits and report them to the vendors, sometimes for their prizes and awards and rewards purposes. And the hacktivists who rally and protest against the different political and social ideas. So sometimes these criminals may come under grey hat hackers. Sometimes because of their activity, they may not come under a grey hat. They will go to a black hat hackers kind of things also. So cyber criminals, they are working for large cyber crime organization. That cyber criminals are responsible for stealing billions of dollars from consumers and businesses. For example, for this, we can say that a ransomware virus. We can say that. So they will try to hack the banking servers, and they may hack some government servers, that kind of servers. Whereas earlier case, hacktivist. So best example, we can see that Julian Assange. So Julian Assange has to steal some US government data. So at some point, according to their law, he may comes under black hat hackers. In some point, he may comes under grey hat hackers. So he will comes under that category. So the cyber criminals they are working for a large cybercrime organizations. They will responsible for stealing billions of dollars from consumers. They may attack some individual consumers, or they may attack some business people also. And then state-sponsored hackers. They are depending on a person's perspective. This is also depending on how the person's perspective. This means that these are either a white hat or black hat hackers who steal the government secrets and gather intelligence and sabotage the networks. So even as I said, Julian Assange case also comes under this state-sponsored hacker category also. What are the tools for thwarting the cybercrime? So there are 5 ways we can do that. One is vulnerability databases, early warning systems, share a cyber intelligence, and by implementing ISM standards, and then by creating some new laws to protect it. This is where we can do that. We will see one by one. Vulnerability databases. This is a common vulnerability and exposures, the databases. So where you can see that CVE database, if you go and see that, so they will be putting a lot of vulnerability databases. They will be declaring that what type of attacks will be there, what type of organization this attacks will happen, how you can able to protect it. All these definitions and all such informations are available in that vulnerability databases. And then early warning systems. Early warning system, for example, best example is a HoneyNet project. It is an example for creating an early warning system. So they will be alerting the organization and networks. So what type of threats and attacks are happening. So prevention is better than cure. So that way, this early warning systems will work. And then share cyber intelligence. In this share cyber intelligence is best example InfraGuard. It is a best example. It is a widespread of sharing a cyber intelligence information to in an open forum. So where anybody can, whoever get into it, they can able to get those information and they can able to protect their own network data and their systems, electronic devices. And the ISM standards, the Information Security Management Standards, these standards will provide a framework for implementing the cybersecurity measures within an organization. You can see in that all such information in that particular website. So what they are going to try to make is, if it is going to be in a small industry, or if it is going to be a medium scale of industries or large scale of industries or corporate industries, what type of data they are handling. So what type of framework they have to follow so that they can able to protect from the cyber attacks. So such kind of information, such kind of standards also we will be defining it in a global way. And then new laws. These laws can address the individual privacy to protection of intellectual property. So it will start from individual to up to that intellectual property. So by writing and by creating a new laws in association with all such industry, they can able to develop it in the cyber world. Comparing the cyber security threats, what are the cyber security threats we are going to see? The threat arenas are the types of personal records. So what type of areas majorly the threats are going to be? Data on your computing devices. I may be keeping all my data into my mobile devices, or I may be keeping all my data into my important data to my desktop. So what will happen is by ransomware virus, if it attacks and if they demand, so there is no other way I have to pay for it. So that I can able to retrieve my data. If it is going to be very normal thoughts, and it won't affect it. So those attackers also, they will plan, and who is a very important person where they will keep their original and valid data. So those data only they will try to attack it. So data on your computing devices. And then the second thing is that the medical data. The medical data is very valid. If anything hacked, anything modification happened in the data, which will cause a loss of life in that medical domain. And then employment. So employment also, the employee details, records, and all such information related to that organization, that information. And the information online. So whatever the information we are giving it in online, so all these data has to be kept very safe. And your identity. Your identity means your personal identification number, your Aadhaar number, and your height, weight, date of birth, and all such personal informations. It's your identity. So those identity data also, it is an important area we have to look into it. And education data, like educational institutions and the universities and all such school information. So this has to be kept very safe. Those areas also, there are a lot of records will be there. And then financial data, it is highly sensitive. As I said, even some of the attackers, they may attack the banking servers and they will demand for huge money. They may change the financial transactions, which will cause a huge loss in the bank also. So that areas, arenas, we can see that the key industry is the manufacturing. Because why we need to see that manufacturing industry? Because now we are in industrial revolution 4. Now all the industries, they are in I squared, OT, industrial Internet of Things. So without human intervention, everything is going to be automated. Everything is going to be automatically, which is going to happen. One machine will talk to another machine. So one machine production will depend on the another machine. So what will happen? This industry controls and all which involves into an automation and SCADA. These are all comes under the manufacturing industry. If anything hackers hacked, then which will cause a huge loss. And energy production and distribution. For example, nowadays we have a smart grids. And the distribution system also, we make it as a very smart. So the hackers can able to easily get into it. So unless until you have a proper security and protection, so which will make a very big impact in that energy production and distribution. Oil and gas, highly sensitive, and communication. We all faced some of the cyber attacks through phone, email, and messaging. So your email may be hacked, or your even some of the banking transactions, the OTP number also, some people, they will try to steal your information, to steal your money from your banks and phone. And transportation systems is a highly important data, where the air travel, rail, and over the road. So any kind of transportations, if all the data are on the fly, all the data are in an internet, if anything goes to wrong, which leads to an accident automatically, which leads to an loss of life. The dark forces of cybersecurity. The dark forces, what it means is what type of threats we are having. So the majorly these threats, dark forces, we can classify it as internal and external threats. So in general, the people used to say the internal threats are highly vulnerable than the external threats. So the attacks can originate from either within an organization, or the attacks came from outside of the organization. Now let us see what are all the internal security threats, what are the external security threats. In internal security threats, there may be an internal user, he may misbehave, he may do it in some unethical way, which will cause a huge loss to the company also sometimes. So the internal threats have the high potential to cause a greater damage than the external threats. So the external security threats are skilled attackers and social engineering. If any other attacker, black hat attackers, if he is a very highly skilled, your network or your organization network and data are not that much security level, then the skilled attackers may attack it. This is an internal and external attacks. Vulnerabilities of mobile devices, the threats. In the past, the employees typically used a company, and whatever the organization is providing a computing facility, only those computing facility only they normally use. The corporate LAN, that network only will use. But now we have a culture of BYOD, bring your own devices. It's a growing trend, which in turn makes us people work from home. The inability to centrally manage and update the mobile devices poses a growing threat to organization that allow the employee mobile devices to their networks. The emergence of an IoT. So as we said, we are in a smart world. The 21st century is in a smart world. So which is major enabling technology is an IoT. So IoT technology which is going to enable the people to connect billions of devices to an internet. So billions of people will be connected. For example, one person is connected to an internet through the mobile phone, through their laptop, through their smartwatch, through their tracking health band, through their Google Glass. Likewise, multiple forms he may be connected to an internet. So for each and everything, this is a highly it means that we are getting into a cyber world. If any one of the devices is not that much secure, then we may be affected to a cyber security attack. So this technology affects the amount of data that needs protection, because every device which is going to create a lot of data, so that data has to be protected properly. Otherwise, which will harm us. So with the emergence of IoT, there is much more data to be managed as well as the secured. The next thing is an impact of the big data. We all know that the big data poses both challenges as well as it is creating a lot of opportunities. So whenever any one technology comes, so there will be some positives as well as there will be some negatives. The same way which will have a lot of challenges as well as which will have a lot of opportunities based on the three domains, major domains. The first one is the volume or amount of data. We know that Facebook, any social media, if you see that every day there may be billions of data are populated. So how to manage the data? How much data are produced? So how it is going to be managed? How those data are going to be protected in a proper way? And then the second is the velocity, that means the speed of a data. So each data has to be moved very fast. This is what the people will expect. So automatically the speed and velocity of the data is also an important. And the variety of data. As I said, if it is going to be a Facebook, it has to support. If it is going to support only a text, people won't like it. So whichever the platforms or whichever the media which has to support for any type of data, so it means majorly entertainment media means, then automatically it has to support for text, audio, video, some animation kind of things. If it supports, then only it will be accepted. So automatically the huge data are going to be produced. So how to secure those data is also a big threat. And safety implications. Cybersecurity, including the emergency call centers, a telephone denial of services, because we all know that earlier the telephone systems are going to be in a conventional traditional telephone mechanism, PSTN kind of mechanism. Now what is happening is voice over IP. Because of after 4G, there is a voice over IP has been enabled in a tremendous way. So it means that all the data are going to fly through the internet. So again, these data are going to be a high threat. And then heightened recognition of cyber security threats. Smart high school students or script kiddies could gain access to the systems. Even the school students also they can able to use it. So automatically high-end recognition of cyber security threats possible. The threat posed by the cyber attack now had the list of greatest threats to national and economic security in most of the countries. How to creating more heroes? Because when the data are growing, when the networks are growing, the cyber world is expanding every day. So in proportional to that, the criminals are also there growing. So how to protect them? How to control them? So via some creating a cyber security professionals. That is where they're creating more heroes. A workforce framework for cybersecurity. It means that the operate and maintain and protect and defend, investigate, collect and operate, analyze, oversight and development, and securely provision. These are all the 7 important points in the framework. So which has to be monitored in the National Institute of Standards and Technologies and NIST. Some online cybersecurity communities, professional organizations which they are in the part of cybersecurity communities. These are all the list of communities. And creating more heroes. The cybersecurity specialist must have the same skill. I feel that even the cybersecurity specialist should have more than that of skills than the hackers. At least equal capability they must have. So the cybersecurity specialist must have the same skills as the hackers, especially black hat hackers, in order to protect against the attacks. There are a huge demand in the market for cybersecurity professional. There is a great need for skilled and knowledgeable information security professional. As per the NASCAM survey, we can see that there are 1 million cybersecurity professionals are needed by 2020 itself. It means that we need a lot of cybersecurity professionals. Now it is a time to summarize whatever I have given here. So the first thing is that explain the structure of a cybersecurity world, how the characteristics it is, and then expanding the technical transformation taking place throughout the world. It means that what are all the domains are available, how the domains are increasing day by day, and then it explored the spread of dark forces. So whenever there is a new technology comes, there will be a positives and negatives, what are the dark forces and how to manage those things. It explained that cyber professional must have the same skill as like a cyber criminals. Even that more skills they must have so that we can able to control the cyber criminals in the cyber security world. It provided details on how to become a cyber heroes. So how we can able to produce a lot of heroes. It surveyed the resources available to help create more heroes. What are all the resources are available and how to create a more number of heroes. This is where we can able to create a lot of cyber security professionals to defend the cyber criminals in the cyber world. Hope my class is given clear insight about introduction to cyber security. Keep watch my channels. If anything you have any clarification or anything, please give us a comment in my channel. I'm ready to